So the next one on my list that I had, excuse me, it was a title called Scarlet Nexus, and this
Yes.
is I think it might be an Xbox exclusive. I think it is, but
I believe so, yes.
yeah, this game looks like a huge next gen version of Astral Chain. That's what I'm
Hmm.
getting when I look at it. And Astral Chain was exclusive to the Switch. It was Platinum Games. I think is this Bandai? I can't even remember who this is actually, or is it
And
Square?
that, yeah.
Bandai. So it's got that kind of Astral Chain style, that anime. Um, if you're familiar with like animated movies like Ghost in the Shell or Appleseed or those kind of things, it's obviously capturing that anime look, and it looks amazing.
Hmm.
And it is very fast, intense combat. You got obviously magical powers of some kind. I don't really know what the story is just yet, but it's set in this kind of future tech world, but fantasy as well. And man, it looks extremely awesome, just extremely awesome.
Yeah, just just looking at it now, it does remind me a lot of Astral Chain.
Yeah,
Slightly more like Astral Chain, but maybe slightly more anime. More anime
yeah,
actually than Astral Chain.
yeah.
But that's oh my god, That's- that the combat looks pretty kind of wild. Like it's okay, two different experiences. See that part right there. So it's a single player story, two different experiences. Instantly, it's throwing me back to Astral Chain,
Yeah,
right there. But the
I
game
know.
does look pretty well. It's interesting to know to see how these kind of like anime styled visual like cell shaded visual games will look on next gen. Um, in
Yeah.
terms of like how it works out, I think a lot of what they've shown is more of like just at this moment in time. I don't recall seeing like a full on like kind of gameplay sequence being shown of like, okay, this here's a particular part. We're gonna go from A to B. This is what's gonna happen. This is what you're gonna
Yeah.
do. A
Yeah.
lot of what we've seen so far is mainly story based stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I want to see the big deep dive on this game to like really get hyped for it.
100%. Yeah. They haven't shown like a gameplay breakdown just yet.
Mhm.
They've only
Because
shown these trailers, essentially, these gameplay trailers, and mixed with
yeah, because
cinematics. Not like, okay, you open up in the hub, and we're going to go show how questing works. We're going to go show how crafting works.
yeah.
We're going to go show how the world reacts to you, or powers and upgrades and stuff work. We haven't got that yet. Callum actually raises a really interesting comment in the chat. Potentially a Souls-like type question mark mixed with Devil May Cry, and that's a really interesting blend there. And it could be.
Mhm.
It really could be. It seems to have that Devil May Cry, like fast combo based combat. Whether it's
It, loo-
a Souls like as well, could be.
it looks like it does have that style. When obviously seeing those kind of big like monsters or bosses it would actually make me think that it would have that kind of Souls type gameplay where like you could get absolutely wrecked if you don't like understand what you're fighting and
Yeah.
like making sure like you learn from your failures and things
Yeah.
like that. But I mean, just having a general look, like the game looks really nice. I think like for coming out on next gen, pushing that kind of anime visual style, it looks really good. I'm just waiting for that deep dive to really just to help me understand what kind of game I'm really playing.
Yeah.
Um, then we could kind of like put two and two together, be like, okay, this is what Scarlet Nexus actually is,
Yeah.
and whether or not to get hyped for it.
Yeah. So question for you, Liban, because you are not really an Xbox guy much at all. You're PlayStation. This is an
Mhm.
Xbox exclusive. Is this game on its own, or this game and more games like it? Would that make you want to dive into the Xbox ecosystem, or would you just do the PC route and get it on Game Pass?
Right. So a game like this, hmm, probably it's. I'd probably end up getting it on PC Game Pass this way.
Yeah.
I think the thing with me and Xbox is not that I have any problem with Xbox. It's just one of those life instances where I just never had one. That's
Yeah.
literally all it was. Um,
You're a hater. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
PlayStation. Like, But I think obviously now where Xbox, I mean, all right, let's put it this way: if Perfect Dark is a game that I would probably go and get an Xbox for,
Okay.
100%. It's one of those games that are, it's coming back. It looks kind of cool so far. It has so much. I'm intrigued by it. I'm hyped for it. Scarlet and Nexus. There's already just having the general look right there right now. It's like there's already games like it out at the moment, kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like look like it, play like it. If you're looking for games that play like it, you look at Devil May Cry. If you want games that look like Scarlet Nexus, you have Astral Chain, you have Genshin Impact, you have
Yeah.
these other games. So it alone wouldn't make me want to get an Xbox. But games like, the upcoming Halo, the upcoming Fable, Perfect Dark, that would make me want to run out and buy an Xbox.
Yeah.
And to play that specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. And for anybody that doesn't obviously are looking at the hardware, but do have like they say, well, why would I get an Xbox hardware when I have a PC and I have a PlayStation 5 for all those epic single player games? That's the incredible thing about Game Pass is like you just get it on your PC and you've got it.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you've got access to all of these games and these IPs. And Callum raised an interesting point about Game Pass having, like for other markets that don't have the hardware necessarily, is the cloud streaming on the app with your phone, with other devices as well, is that you've got so many ways into that Xbox ecosystem now that it's no longer just about buying the hardware and having that in your living room on your computer desk or whatever your setup is. It's really, it's going to be a really fascinating next generation that we go into in the next like 5 years or so as to what unfolds. What is Sony's counter? Do they need a counter? Do they not? Do they just keep going as they're going, or and Xbox just doing their thing? It's super exciting to be a gamer though, man. It's wild, all of these things that we've got to mess
It is.
around
I
with.
mean, I think with Xbox, it's just a case of now where they're not fussed about where you're playing the games on, as long as you're playing it, and again, you're within their ecosystem.
Yeah.
Something like the online streaming, perhaps for individuals like yourself and I, who maybe are able to access those kind of internet speeds, it won't be a problem. But other parts of the world, no way. Like it's not going to happen. So maybe they'll go out and buy the actual box itself, or maybe they'll get PC Game Pass instead. But it is interesting. It's two very different strategies. That before it used to be very similar and they'll compete very closely, but it's almost now like they're not competing at all because they're kind of just going. One chose door A and the other person just chose door B, and that's it. They're just going to go their separate ways. But it will be interesting. I think especially we will know how things look better at the end of 2021.
Yeah,